Everyone in the Soul Society agrees on one thing. Gin Ichimaru was a snake. The smiling traitor who stabbed everyone in the back, but the archives already know. Perfection is always a lie, so is villainy. Gin wasn't planning a betrayal, he was planning a murder. One murder. And he spent 100 years getting close enough to commit it for a girl he loved. By the end of this file, you're going to wish the whole world knew his name. By the way, we're about to go. Welcome back to the Dark Archives. Tonight, we are pointing a flashlight at the most misunderstood man in the Gotei 13, and the smile he wore for 100 years to hide what he was really doing. Here's the thing nobody wants to sit with. Before Gin was a captain, before the smiles, he was just a kid in the Rukongai, the slums of the afterlife, where souls starve all over again. And one day he finds a girl collapsed in the dirt, Rangiku. She had part of her very soul stolen, her Iyatsu, her life force, carved out of her own body by someone strong enough to do it and bored enough not to care. And Gin does the math right there. As a child, someone powerful enough did this, someone untouchable. And the law, the noble, perfect Soul Society law, was never going to do a single thing about it. So he makes a decision. Not a vow, not a speech. A quiet, cold decision. That everyone after this moment served one purpose. Find who did it. Get close enough and take it back. But to kill a god, you don't get to charge through the front door. You have to become one of his angels first. And that's exactly what Gin spent the next century doing. This is where the genius of it hides. Gin joins the Gotei 13 and raises fast. Captain of the 3rd Division, before most souls his age can even hold a Zangpak toe straight. And to everyone watching, it looks like ambition. The smiling prodigy clawing his way up. It wasn't ambition, it was navigation. Every promotion put him one room closer to the man he was hunting. Sosuke Aizen, the most dangerous mind in the Soul Society, and Gin didn't try to expose him. He did the opposite. He made himself indispensable. Aizen's most loyal lieutenant, his right-hand man. Think about what that cost. To get close enough to your target, Gin had to convince the smartest man alive in the world he was on his side. For decades, one slip, one honest expression, and Aizen would have erased him without a blink. So Gin built that smile. The closed eyes, the face that never tells you anything. People called it creepy. It was armor. So ask yourself this. What kind of person spends an entire century being hated by everyone he's secretly protecting, and never once explained himself? Not a villain, a man with a mission. He can't afford to speak out loud. He is not the Batman of Bleach. Batman wants to know he's the good guy. Gin let the whole world believe he was the worst thing in it, so that one person would never see it coming. But here's the part that makes this a tragedy instead of a clever plan. 100 years of deep cover doesn't come for free, and Gin paid it with people who trusted him. Toshiro Hitsugaya, the prodigy captain, spent half of the series convincing Gin is a threat to Hinamori and everyone, and he's right. On the surface, Gin taunts him, baits him, plays the snake to perfection because the alternative is dropping the act. And dropping the act gets Rankiku's stolen soul lost forever. Every cruel thing Gin does to people around him is a brick in the wall hiding the one thing he actually cares about. He let Rangiku herself believe he has abandoned her. Read that again. The entire reason he became a monster was to save her, and the cover requires that she believes the monster was real too. He couldn't even let the girl he was dying for know his secrets. That's the cruelty of a long con. To protect the one person you love, you have to break the heart first, and never tell them why. Which brings us to the weapon, because everything, 100 years of it, was built around a blade most fans completely misunderstood. Gin engineered a poison, a substance that turns into dust and crumbles whatever it bonded to. activated from the inside of the target's body on its command. He didn't build a sword to win a fight, he built a delivery system for one specific target, one god who thought Gin was on his side. And on that day everything breaks open, Gin makes his move. He let Aizen believe right up to the final second that he's loyal. Then the blade goes in, the poison activates, and Gin reaches for the thing Aizen stole the world to obtain, the Hogyoku, to rip it out and end him. 100 years, one knife, one throat, exactly as planned. If you ever written a character off completely and had them flip on you like this, that's the entire reason this channel exists. The archives is full of these files, the villains who are never the villains. There's a playlist link below that'll run you 3 more of them for you, but finish this one first because the ending is where it actually breaks your heart. And here's the cruelest part of the whole file. He almost made it, 100 years of being the most hated man alive, and he was seconds from winning, but the Hogyoku, the thing Aizen was merging with, rejects Gin's poison. It senses a threat and protects its host. Aizen survives, and in that instant, the smile finally drops. Because Gin knows, a century of work undone in a heartbeat, Aizen turns on him and Gin falls. And the last thing on his mind, it wasn't Aizen. It wasn't power. It wasn't even revenge or the throne. It was Rangiku. She reached him as he was dying, and the man who lied an entire world for hundreds of years finally tells the truth. That he was sorry. That all of it, every second of it, was to get back what was stolen from her. Gin Ichimaru didn't die a traitor, he died the only honest man in a room full of gods, and almost nobody in the world will ever know it. So was Gin evil? The world will say yes. The archive says that he was the most loyal man in the entire series. Just loyal to one person, not a side. He spent hundreds of years building one knife for one throat. He let everyone he protected hate him. He broke the heart of the girl he loved as she be safe, and he did it all smiling. So she'd never have to be afraid again. That's the file. That's the truth. They buried under the 100 years of hate. Smiling Snake was the closest thing Soul Society had ever had to a guardian angel, and they spat on his grave. But hey, that's a disclassified file for another night. The next name in the archives is already waiting, and trust me, this one's worse. It's right there on the screen. Go check it out.